Hi everyone, it's Brittany and welcome to another Q&A for the membership channel. This is Q&A number 8. So I'm just going to get right into it. You guys sent me tons of questions, amazing questions actually, that I'm really excited to go through. So let's just get right into it as we always do. All right, first question. My character feels that if I accept my current experience, I'm just settling. How does dropping the character make my desired reality show up? Okay, so first of all, great question. And this is a common fear of the character. So accepting reality, accepting things the way that they are, is not choosing things the way that they are. Acceptance is allowing. The opposite of that is going to be resisting, fighting against. Resistance feeds the reality. Resistance feeds the character. Whereas acceptance, allowance, just letting it be the way that it is, allows it to move through. You don't attach to it. You aren't identified with it, so it can move through you as awareness. This is why allowing it is the best way to go. Now, acceptance doesn't necessarily mean, okay, I have to acknowledge this and see that this is happening. It just means that we're not doing anything about it either way. We're not choosing it. We're not fighting against it. I guess a better word really would be indifference. Again, not trying to pretend like it isn't there, but just understanding that it isn't personal to you and you just allow it to be the way that it is, fully aware of the fact that it's the character experiencing this, not you. So hopefully that makes it more clear for you. Okay. How do I love everyone when some people feel impossible to love? Well, you don't have to force the character to love everyone. That's just not going to work. That's going to feel like forcing, and we know that that doesn't go well. So really, you just want to understand that love is not an action. It's not something that you need to do. It's who you are. So the more you rest as your true self source, and the more that you stop identifying with this character, which based off of, things we've spoken about, I think you are doing that consistently, naturally love will start to arise within you. Naturally, you'll start to see people in a different way. And it just happens. There's no forcing in any of this. So the question of how do I love people? Well, that's just coming from the character, and the character will never fully understand that. And it's not up to her to figure out how to do that either. So yeah, that's it. Okay, oops. Oh, I just went to the bottom. Hold on one second. Sorry, guys. And also I'm doing this a little bit differently where instead of reading the full questions, I've kind of summarized them. Let me know if that works for you guys, if that's okay. I just want to try to keep this as flowy as I can. All right, next question. What helped you realize it's better to manifest as I am? Well, I mean, really experience. It wasn't like something that I went and found. It was just that over and over again, I noticed a pattern of no matter how I chose to manifest, it was always a lot of effort and struggle. And then the payoff just really wasn't there for me. Even when I would, see these 3D forms that I thought I really needed to see, or I thought would change my life in some sort of way, it never really did. It never really fulfilled me. So I just felt called to go deeper and deeper into this as I recognize these patterns. So yeah, it wasn't like something happened in particular. It was that I just noticed that no matter which way I was going about this, it was always coming from the perspective of the human and not truly myself as the awareness where everything shows up and takes place. So yeah, I just kind of intuitively started to understand that. Okay, next question. When you live as source, how do new desires show up? Okay, yeah. So I think a lot of you might think that as source, desires don't show up anymore. And I don't really like the word desire, but that doesn't mean that things that you want to experience stop. They don't. They just come up in a different way. So, where as a character, desires come up purely from a space of lack and separation, a place of desperation and needing it, some sort of validation behind it. As source, desires come up, I say wants come up in a playful way, in a fun way. It's like when you know you have all of the ingredients in your house to make lots of different dishes. When you decide you want a specific dish, it's not coming from lack or desperation. It's coming from the fact that you already have all of these ingredients and now you can make something fun and tasty with those ingredients. So hopefully that makes sense. That was a random analogy, but I think it makes sense. Okay. When I see good things happening, do I engage as the character or stay in source? Oh, I love this question. And it's funny how you asked it because I was just explaining this to somebody else the other day. I get lots of people that will say to me, I totally understand what you're talking about, Brittany, and to an extent, I've experienced things in the same way as you. However, I kind of don't get how this translates when things are going well in your life. Like for you, you have children and a husband. Can you truly, truly say that you're not attached to them and to these experiences? And yeah, that's a great question. This is why I like to tell you guys that no matter what it is that's going on in your 3D experience, whether it's unfavorable or it's the most enjoyable experience for you, you still don't want to get attached to these forms. And the reason why, it goes right back to identification, to a character. When you're a character and you feel that you're attached to something, that automatically comes with a possibility of losing something. That automatically comes with fear and, maybe messing something up in the relationship. So really, what I want you to understand is that I fully enjoy my experiences. I love spending time with my family. I love seeing my husband play with our kids. I enjoy it wholeheartedly. The thing is, after that experience ends, after I'm not immersed in that experience anymore, I can bring it back to the only thing that I hold on to, and that is who I truly am, source. So the only reason why I'm able to enjoy these beautiful experiences that I've chosen for myself is because I know who I really am. And I know that there's no need to hold on to these relationships or these experiences at all. And that's how I can consistently experience these types of relationships. If I were doing this whole thing of detaching from things, and then when what I want comes in, get attached to it again. And trust me, I've been there, I've done this. I think I've explained this in my video where I talk about the relationship with my husband. That one in particular was very difficult for me because I didn't know how to manage it. I didn't know how to not be attached while also feel like I could enjoy the relationship. And so I did bounce in and out of being the character versus being source. And I could tell when I was being the character, I was very miserable. I was very unhappy. I felt scared. I felt like, if I could just somehow, some way figure out how to make this relationship go in the way that I want to consistently, then things would just be so much easier and I would finally be able to enjoy it. But that isn't the case. It's that the character always needs to manage things. The character always has some sort of hidden motive behind what she's doing or saying. And that's not true for who you really are. So really fully enjoying everything if it's enjoyable. Or if it's not enjoyable, that's okay too, but you're still going to probably be immersed in the experience. If you're not, that's fine. You're not forced to be present in an experience that you aren't enjoying. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, don't hold on to anything. Not only memories, past experiences that were not enjoyable to you, limitations, fears, but also don't hold on to the good things, the enjoyable experiences, things that make you and, allow your character, I should say, feel safe and feel chosen and feel loved and feel secure or whatever it is. Yes, enjoy it for what it is, a form of yourself, who you are, really always bringing it back to the truth that the only reason why you're able to have these beautiful experiences are because you know who you are and you're not trapped in a character. You can enjoy it without attaching to it. So that was kind of a lot, but I hope that really helped answer your question. Okay. Is there a difference between dropping the character itself and dropping identification with it? No. It's just the way that I say it. That's just what makes sense for me. But no, you're right. The character will continue to appear unless you're actively choosing to not have a human experience anymore. But I don't think that's what we're doing here, right? But no, there's no difference. The only thing I'm saying is stop deriving your sense of self from the character. That's what I mean by dropping the character. It doesn't mean the character won't still be here experiencing things and doing whatever it is that the character's doing at any given moment. It just means that you do not buy into this idea that it is you that's experiencing these things. It's a character that you as the awareness are allowing to appear within you as awareness. So that's it. Okay, next question. How do you live with time being an illusion but still function in the 3D? Okay, so really, time is simply a construct within this human experience. So even though you know time isn't real, it doesn't mean it's not going to be a part of your experience. So really, you don't have to look at it as a problem. Just recognize it's something that's a part of this character's dream. Now, what I will say is, if you don't want to experience time in the way that characters do, you don't have to. You simply just have to drop the character to have that experience. Okay. If there's no character, who's manifesting? Yeah, great question. No one. Manifestation is not happening. It's not a thing. It is a story, a concept within the character's storyline. That's all that it is. So it's made up for a character. That's it. Now, source simply just is. So source is not manifesting either. All that's really happening is everything that you are as source naturally shows up within the dream. However, if you're being a character, you're going to get a lot of problems, lack, struggle, separation, all of that kind of stuff. Whereas when you drop the character, all that's really left is who you truly are as the source. Yes, within a character, it will show up, but it's still showing up without the lack character, that filter of lack. So what will show up is going to more likely align with who you truly are as the source. So fulfillment, happiness, peace, love, satisfaction, security, safety, whatever it is for you that you want to experience is what will naturally show up without you having to consciously choose it or manifest it. Okay. Okay. If I already am everything, who gets to experience desires in 3D? Okay, yeah, good question. Well, it's the character experiencing them, but here's the thing. The best way I can describe this is, yes, it's the character experiencing it, but it's all happening within you as the source, as awareness. So it's kind of like if you're watching a movie and you're watching the character go through all of these experiences. Yeah, It's the character experiencing it on the screen, but truly who's having that experience? You as the witness of that experience. There's not truly someone on screen having an experience. It's you witnessing the character having the experience. So hopefully that makes sense to you. Oh, okay. Why don't you like planning, and what about discipline? Okay, so really, it's not that planning's wrong. It's just that planning comes from a character. It comes from a place of fear, needing to control things. But really, what I've found, and this is just me, is that when I kind of just let things be, life just flows naturally and effortlessly. So if something has to be done, if an action needs to be taken, it happens naturally without me being the one behind it needing to make it happen. I'm going to be doing a video all about the doer on the main side of the channel. So I think that will go deeper into really addressing this question. But just for now, understand that when you actively drop the character, it's not like things stop happening. It's not like you just sit in your bed all day and do nothing. But the character will be moved naturally, automatically, based off of the identification to that character. So truly, you don't have to plan anything, but if the character's planning something, that's okay. Allow her. Just recognize that it's not you that's doing the planning. It's the character, and she's simply just following the role that was assigned to her, okay? And really discipline, again, discipline is not needed. Discipline already, it sounds like a negative word. It sounds like there has to be force involved. But discipline just means that no matter what it is that's going on, continually choosing to see the truth of what's really happening here. That's the only way I would define discipline in this, context. But other than that, discipline is not necessary. That's, again, something for the character, and it has nothing to do with you. I'm worried that if I let go of my character, I will miss the current versions of my loved ones. Okay, well, here's the thing. What is real can't ever leave. So you're not going to miss anything about your loved ones. The only thing that will ever go is the problems that were made up while you believed you were a character. Anything coming from separation, from pain, from, I don't know, anything that has to do with a human being and a character. Really, that's it. So when you drop that, you're not losing anything. You're not losing a part of your own character. You're not losing a part of the characters in your movie talking about your loved ones. You're not losing any of that. The only thing that goes is the illusion of lack, separation. That's it. So you won't lose anything. You'll actually genuinely get to experience these relationships in such a deeper, more profound way. If I want to experience a certain version of someone, what would be the best way to do that? Well, I saw your examples, and we're not going that way. You don't really want to try to control anything. All that really needs to happen is dropping this character that sees lack and separation, that sees this person is sick or that person is struggling financially. When you drop that character, what naturally happens is those things fade out, and what aligns with who you are as source, abundance, love, health, wealth, happiness, peace, whatever it is, will naturally arise within those people in your experience, unless you actively continue to choose to see them as suffering, having problems. But you do not actively have to choose to, okay, they're struggling with finances, so now I have to choose to see them as wealthy. No, that's just another character game that you can get trapped in. So instead, just drop the character that sees any of those limitations or issues, which are all just illusions. And naturally, what resurfaces is the more ideal, whole, complete version of them. Okay. Okay. Have you experienced reality shifting or playing different characters? Yeah, absolutely. And truly, it's not different than anything else. It's not different than anything that what we've been talking about. So the difference is that I've experienced these things when I was no longer being a character. When I was being a character, I could effort my way into experiencing shifts, but again, they were very transient, is the best way I could put it. Very transient, and took me a whole lot of struggle and effort and force. And it was just for a temporary experience, just to see it and then for it to go away again. Whereas now, yes, I've absolutely shifted realities and I've absolutely experienced things instantly, but it's very natural. It comes in on its own. I'm not trying to control it. I'm not trying to force it into existence. It's just really what appears when you truly know you are not this character. Those things naturally start to happen. So if that's anything that you're interested in, it will naturally appear for you. You will not have to figure out how to make it happen or force it in any way. Okay. Okay, if I stop thinking about my desire, I feel it won't come. Yep, that's a character's lie. Affirmations feel like I'm a character wearing a mask. How do I stay in awareness while in relationships? Okay, so here's the thing, kind of similar to one of the previous questions I just answered, but you really don't need to define anything in terms of a relationship. When you drop the character, the one that lacks, that doesn't have, that has, problems in their relationship, when you drop that character, what naturally resurfaces is a character that naturally aligns with who you are as the source, which is love itself, which is whole, perfection, complete. You don't have to actively focus on those things. It's just who you are. So all that's needed is dropping the current character that isn't that. That's all. That's all that you have to do. So in relationships, enjoy the relationships. If you're in an experience where you're in the middle of a conversation with somebody that you're in a relationship with, be present in that experience. However, when you leave that interaction, choose to see what just happened. That happened to a character, not me. Yes, I happen to be playing the role of that character, but it still isn't me that happened to. So all you're doing is exactly what I'm talking about in all of my videos, is allowing the experience and then returning to the truth of who you are, seeing things for the way that they really are. And naturally, what will start to show up is more love in your experiences, more harmony in relationships. Okay. Past memories make me hold on to pain. How do I let it go? Really, same thing. Just by noticing the one that suffered is the character. And I want to make it super clear because I think this is where people have a hard time, especially when trying to revise past memories or just to even be able to let go of painful memories. And I'm not here telling you that you need to convince this character that it never experienced those things. That has never worked for me. What I tend to do is allow the experience, allow the memories to come up, and acknowledge the fact that that thing did happen. The difference is, who did it happen to? It didn't happen to you. It happened to a character. And you might have been playing the character at the time, but it doesn't change the fact that you are not this character. So that pain that happened did not happen to you. It happened to the character. Okay? Okay, since I am everything, do I need to take on an identity at all? No, you do not. You absolutely do not. Identities are simply just like a costume. It's just for fun. If you want to, you can. It's not required. And I do not do that. So just so you know, what happens if you don't choose an identity? Well, whatever naturally aligns with you and who you are as the source is what the character will be when it shows up. That's how it works. So you do not have to actively identify as something else or a new character. You can, sure, I don't tend to suggest it. Why? Because it very easily can turn into the current character trying to pretend it's someone that it's not. And again, that's my experience. If my character feels fear or lack, should I just sit with it? Will that shift me to the one who has it? Okay. Yes, just sit with it, but it's not sitting with it that shifts you into what you want. It's really seeing who the one is that's feeling those emotions. That's what shifts you, dropping the character and not picking it back up. So yes, when the emotion comes in, it makes the most sense to just allow it to be there. That doesn't mean you actively have to now give space for this character to feel all of the emotions, unless that's what feels good in the moment. It just means allow it to be there without taking it on as personal to you, without taking ownership over it. So it's not the sitting with the feelings that shifts you. It's the recognition that the one that's feeling this is not me. That's what creates the shift, not anything else, but seeing what's going on. And what's going on is I am not the character. This is not who I am. This is happening to a character, not to me. That's it. Okay. Is shifting to new realities the same as anything else, like just deciding it's already so? Yeah, absolutely. 100%. It's exactly the same thing. You decide if you need to, you rest in the truth. Really, decisions don't have to happen, honestly. You really just rest in the truth of who you are, knowing that throughout anything you're experiencing, it's all happening within you, it's all arising within you. And this is all just a character here going through whatever it's going through. It's not who you are. Yes, it's a manifestation. It's not you. That's it. And just by knowing that, just by realizing that, the dream can shift effortlessly without you having to do anything. Okay. Okay. What if my character's current experience feels awful? Do I still just remind myself it's not me? You said to be present in these experiences, but what if I don't want to? Okay. Yes. So I didn't say it's required to be present in these experiences. What I'm saying is most of the time, people will tell me that it feels very difficult to not be immersed in the experiences. And that's fine. That's what we're here to do. So there's nothing wrong with that. However, if you are not immersed in an experience and you can fully see that this is happening to a character, not me, that's totally fine too. It's not about forcing anything. It's just about seeing what's going on. So yes, it's totally fine, but recognize that the one that doesn't like the experience is still just a character. You as awareness do not have an opinion one way or another on that. You are simply just here to witness the experiences. So really understand that the character is the one that doesn't like these experiences. The character is the one that wants to escape. Recognize that and even drop that, and you will shift effortlessly. Okay? Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to, I think two questions got lumped together here. Okay, so my person stopped talking to me and it's been months. I feel hopeless sometimes. How do I deal with that? Okay, first, I want to say I'm stopping the question here because you gave a long backstory. And I want you to know that that story you told me is not yours, it's the character's. So I want to make that clear. Now, you're not here to speak for the character, you're not here to validate the character. So even though that might be what has appeared to go on with your character, you don't have to keep repeating it over and over and over again, okay? Because that takes on a personal experience as if it's yours, and it's not. Okay. What was the question now? How do you deal with this? Well, again, you really truly need to understand that The character is the one that has that story going on. And for her, that's not going to change. So how do you deal with it? By seeing what's going on, by dropping this character, no longer identifying with her, and truly, truly, guys, I want to make this super clear. It's not about saying things. It's not about telling yourself that that's just a character. It's about genuinely understanding, seeing that I am not this character. And if all of this stuff is happening to this character and it's not happening to me, what am I holding on to it for? Why am I taking it personally? Why am I claiming it as if it's happening to me when it's not? Again, I'm not saying that isn't the situation, but it's not your situation. It's one character's situation. And if you don't like it, you can drop that character. But that's going to require you no longer speaking for her anymore, no longer validating her feelings and stories as if they're yours. Allow them to show up, allow them to be there, but do nothing with them anymore. See them for what they are, appearing within one character's storyline. Okay, I've been dropping the character, but she still asks, where's my stuff? How do I know I'm not doing it wrong? Well, the question itself comes from a character, and honestly, that just tells me you're doing it right, because that question of where's my stuff is trying to pull you back into the character. Truly, the only thing you ever have to do is drop identification to this character. That's always the only thing needed. So you're doing it right. It's just that the character is fading out. And because she's fading out, she wants to come in and ask all of these questions. That's totally normal. So yes, you're doing it right. Just continue to see that for what it is too. Where's my stuff? Well, makes no sense for you, not me. How long is this going to take? Still makes no sense for you. See it for what it really is. That's it. That's all. It's just the same exact thing. Once dropping the character, why do desires seem to appear? Why do desires continue to appear? Is it to move us through the dream? Okay, good question. So as source, of course, you're already whole and complete. Desires really just appear within the dream because they're expressions. That's all. They're expressions of all that you are. So when the desires show up after you've dropped the character, it's really just because there was nothing blocking them at all but the character. So when you drop the character, what was already there is free to be perceived by you. Now, desires will still show up, and I think I mentioned this earlier in this video, but desires will still show up. They're just coming from a different place. They're coming from just simply expression. So I saw that you asked also, like, technically as source, we could just sit on a rock all day and be perfectly fine and fulfilled. But do these things show up for us to move through the dream? You can look at it that way, yeah. And really, it's just because we like more than one thing. We don't just want to sit and do nothing. We want to express ourselves from as many different viewpoints and personalities and characters as possible. So that's all that it is. It's just a different way to express the infinity that you are. You know, you're an infinite being. So we're going to express ourselves in as many different ways as possible. So that's the whole point of the experience. So yeah, thank you. Thank you for asking all of these questions. They were amazing. Yeah, I honestly, I feel like it's better to do Q&As once a month. It's just too much doing it twice a month because honestly, I feel like you guys don't really need to ask that many questions at this point anymore. So once a month is probably better. Also, I just want to let you guys know, I have something exciting coming up that I want to share with you all. I am not going to share it quite yet, but keep an eye on my community tab because that's where I'm going to share it first. I will probably share it actually to you guys first on the membership side, And then I will also announce it to the public side as well. But that's something to keep your eyes open for. And I think I'm going to be sharing it sometime next week. So keep an eye out for that. But thank you all so much for being here with me. Thank you for all of your questions. You guys are so amazing. And yeah, I just love you all so much. Thank you so much again for being here, for being so supportive, and yeah, for sticking with me here, because amazing things are happening. I have so many stories that I want to share with you guys from clients. And yeah, that will be coming up very soon. So look out for that as well. All right, guys, have an amazing, amazing week, and I will talk to you soon.